Death be not proud.
Listen up, you ignorant pigs. Put down your crack pipes and your beer bongs. It's time to mature again with Hail Caesar. It's time Andre the Giant showed up with some of his painted Romans, looking pretty good there, and we are doing the Battle of Allia. Let's go into a little bit of history about that. Take it away.
All right, so the Battle of Allia. This is kind of like the beginnings of historical Rome. So everything before this time is kind of considered myth. Everything after this just gets more and more historically based.
Is this when they started to write shit down?
Yeah, and that's good. You know, some of the sources talk about the reason why they don't have a lot of written sources from this time is because the Gauls came in and burned the fuck out of Rome, and there was nothing left, right? We don't even know. I mean, honestly, I think the farthest actual literary evidence of Roman literature we have goes back only to the 3rd century, and it's just fragments. So there's not a lot. Like, we have inscriptions. There's lots of Latin inscriptions from the 4th and 5th centuries. Not a lot, but there's some. But as far as literature, it doesn't date that far back. I mean, just before the Punic Wars, really. So this is kind of like that semi-mythical, semi-historical age. I mean, some historians don't even agree if Camillus was a real person. But anyway.
So wait a minute, you said the commander was Brennus. This is 390?
Yeah, it was 390.
So
some people say 397.
There was a different Brennus at the second battle of Thermopylae.
Yeah, so there was the Brennus that came in and burned the fuck out of Macedonia, right? In the era of the successors, and then there was this Brennus before then. And a lot of people think Brennus just might be a Gallic word for king. So they think the Greeks and the Romans may not have fully understood the Gallic languages and the Gallic people, and that they just called their kings Brennus as a blanket term. It is bizarre that there's two Brennuses more than a century apart from each other, one burning the fuck out of Greece, one burning the fuck out of northern Italy, and they're both called Brennus. But yeah, so that confuses people.
Yeah, that confused me immediately right off the bat. And I was like, 390? That doesn't even sound like the right time frame. I thought these guys would be going all the way across.
Two different Brennuses. So you got the Brennus after Alexander that goes into Macedonia and Greece and, are eventually defeated, too, at the Battle of Delphi. And then you got this Brennus that kicks the Romans' asses. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to decide if we can change history today. Are the Romans going to win this battle? What exactly happened?
Well, so what happened is the Gauls were rampaging in northern Italy, and they were kicking Etruscan and Umbrian ass up there, and a allied or friendly city came to the Romans and asked for assistance. Rome sent some ambassadors to that city, talked to the Gauls, and the Gauls mouthed off to them and said, "Who the fuck are you to tell us what to do?" Those ambassadors later participated.
Do you have any Germanic descent? Because you're really tall.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I feel like I should be playing the Romans because...
Listen, this ain't the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, all right?
Sitting here at 5'1". Listen, I'm not 5'1", by the way.
Yeah, and I'm not 5'8" either, so... Anyways,
6.5 feet tall.
But yeah, so these ambassadors later participated in a battle against Brennus, and he found out about it, and it pissed him off, and because of that, he marched immediately onto Rome, because he was fucking pissed that Roman ambassadors broke the secret pact of ambassador. In the ancient world, they had all these unspoken rules, and one of them was ambassadors weren't supposed to fucking put themselves into battles, and these ones did. I think they were Fabii. Don't quote me on that one. They were part of the Fabii clan. So he marched immediately on Rome, and this is mostly Livy, I'm getting this from. Brennus marched immediately on Rome, and Livy states that the Gauls marched so fast on Rome that they didn't have time to collect their normal legionary levy from the surrounding farms and countryside, because, as most people know, throughout most of Roman Republican history, the center of the army was their heavy infantry, but they were also the citizen farmers, the property holders, and it took time for all those people in the surrounding farms to gather. So he specifically states that a large part of the Roman army was made up of troops who were unaccustomed to battle and lightly armed. So that's why we went with a skirmish heavy force with the Romans, with a small corps of heavy infantry, and because the Gauls were just essentially a raiding or mercenary army just fucking pillaging and raping through northern Italy, they have the cav advantage because they probably would have been a little bit more elite, a little bit more organized and set up for that kind of warfare. So, and at this point, as we saw with the hoplites, some people might be scratching their head, hoplites in Rome? Yes, Rome used hoplites. It was called, as historians, they classify it the pre-Camillan reforms. So before the Battle of Caudine Forks in the 300s BC, the Romans used hoplites. They didn't have the manipular system yet. They didn't have
Were they using the linen cuirass armor? Or
yeah, I think they would have. That's some debate. We don't obviously...
So when it comes down to technology, if somebody had something that was good, effective, easy to make, in Europe, around those areas, it would spread relatively quickly because you were never really out of sight of land sailing around the Aegean or in certain parts of the Mediterranean.
Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Technology would spread from Egypt, it would spread from Greece, it would spread from Rome proper. If they had a good idea, it would move very quickly. So that's something you need to kind of understand there.
There's a lot of bleed over. I mean, even Latin language. I mean, the Greeks got their alphabet from the Phoenicians, and then it spread to Italy to the Etruscans, and then the Etruscans gave it to the Romans, and then it became Latin after the Romans transformed it even more. I mean, so technology, absolutely. I mean, we don't have any linen cuirasses even from Greece left today because they were made out of linen.
I think they have a couple of them.
Maybe some
the
fragments.
tomb of Philip was very well preserved. When they found it. That's how we learned how they made
arrows.
What do you call it? The hoblon. The actual shield
I know
itself.
I actually
the guy had like 7 shields in that tomb with him.
Yeah,
he
had
shields.
Swords, he had helmets, he had the famous gold death mask. I read a book on the archaeology of everything they found there. I think some people are gonna be like, oh, they should have bronze cuirasses. No, I think the linen cuirasses are appropriate because their whole military system was borrowed from the Etruscans, which was almost entirely borrowed from the Greeks. And we know that to a T because Etruscans have all sorts of Greek shit all in the archaeological record. I mean, weapons, pottery, shit that's coming straight from Attica.
So did this battle end with the Romans being pushed into the river?
That is what Livy says. Livy says Gauls came in hot and heavy and fucked them up, and then they got routed in the river, and then the Roman army fractured and fucking hightailed it in 2 different directions.
All right, we're gonna go through deployment, setup, the armies, and we'll be back. So here we go with the Roman forces. They're going to start out in hoplite armor because by this time this is pre-manipular tactics. What year is this?
390.
390. Over here we have 2 units of cavalry. We have to split this one in half. We have some slingers that are part of the regular army, and then we have some javelin men that are part of the regular army. These guys, however, they're levies. They're fresh troops. There's the Roman commander right there. Next to him, we have Brennus. Then we have 3 medium warbands of the Celts. Gallics, basically. And then we got the Royal Guard. And these guys have valiant and tough fighter. That's how we know they're the Royal Guard. They got that one badass dude with abs and a severed head. And then over here we got the, 2 units of light cavalry. And then 4 chariots. That is not Boudica. We'll just leave it at that. So, these are the forces. We got 258 models total. And that's 111 Celts versus 147 Romans. But these guys, they're going to melt probably very quickly. And the board looks something like this. The Romans got their backs to the river, and the Celts are going to come on from this area here. And we're just going to go over here, give you one little look at the terrain, and we'll get deployed and be back. So here we are, completely deployed and stuff like that. So there's a ford here, right?
Yeah, but it's not counting for anything in this game. I just molded it like that for other games. Because we won't use it for other games.
So you got a bunch of skirmishers up here on the hill with the slingers. Not to mention you got the entire Roman battle line right here. And then over here you've got the Celts, and that is a unit of chariots, excuse me. And then you got the light cavalry over here, and that's historically. I have to place my commander right where my dice are going to go, so that's going to be about it there. And then this is the board. This is what it looks like. We'll be back for turn 1. So we only got one move on this side from the 2 infantry down to here. I wanted to be in this general area right here. We didn't quite get it. Over there we did get our 2 movements with the infantry squad and 1 movement with the cavalry. So we ended up over there. What happened here was we only just saw this clump of troops right here. They're the only ones who moved. These guys took no orders, and since they're levies, they're now disordered. And if you don't roll a 4+, they end up disordered. So that's how they got that nice little orc dice right there. And we're going into turn 2. So right here, on my turn, I failed all of my other orders except for this one. And so basically what happened here is he moved up because this is both of our turns too. And he moved into this general area. I declared a charge. He declared a counter charge with the unit that was being charged. So even though it was a failed charge, we met in the middle because we both have to follow the orders as closely as you can. So there was exactly 8 inches, 16 inches of movement between us. So we met in the middle. These guys were ordered in as support as part of that, and I was hoping for 2 moves. So what happened was the chariots decimated this squad. They rolled a break as shaken on a number 4, and they ended up dead. So I'm going to pull back just a little bit and wait for Romans to have another turn. So turn 3, he beat me by 1. He did take 2 for his troubles there. He blundered straight forward, and I just charged him on initiative. And these guys came into support. I just rolled give ground and good order to rally with supports. And then other than that, these guys are holding without penalty. And over here, I got a huge heaping helping of movement. He's going to have to roll again if he doesn't move to see if he's blunder, to see if he's disordered with the levies.
Let's see it.
That's on your turn. That's after your turn. That's
at the end of this turn, right?
No, that's on your turn. Okay. So there's that, and then you can see the lines are something like this. And we're going into 4. Okay, so I did nothing for the 4th turn. I declared a charge with my cavalry. Nothing happened. Those guys are disordered. They're in front of the slingers. No traversing thoughts, so nothing happened.
They went catatonic.
He made some very conservative moves. He got 1 here no matter what because these guys can move as per open order. He got 1 order to move these guys 1 move, and then these guys just moved to the side. I declared a charge, failed, did all my reroll, nothing. All 9s and 10s. So it's going into the Roman. So on turn 5, we roll to see if they're disordered now, because that's what happened.
They are.
Okay.
So they get
that's at the end of your turn. So sorry. Okay. That's at the beginning of your 6. So over here, we got beaten back from the hill with those 2 units disastrously. We gave him +1 to fight because he was defending the hill. +1 to his attack rolls. Over there we turned, did a wound with javelins. He rolled really high on the leadership test, so that's really good there.
You got 1 wound.
We did get 1 wound, I think I said that. And then we're going into 6. So we're set up right here. We just had a fight again. He lost by 2. I am now shaken. He's going to roll his leadership. Let's see what it is. Oh, whoa. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Losing by 2, that's probably going to be hold your ground without penalty. And then we're going to swing at each other. Yep. So we're going to swing at each other. I needing 4s, you needing 5s in the next turn. So that'll be it. And this is the linchpin. He needs to get rid of these chariots. But now we're both... So now we're both basically just messed up here.
Yeah, we're both pretty done.
Okay, so you're sitting here at your full stamina of 4. I'm sitting in mine at 6. Did you go to 8?
No.
No, you did not. You went to 7, correct?
7.
You went to 7. Sorry. Just if you went to 8, you're dead. That's all you need to know. Yep. And that's the fight there. All right, so we're clashing now. We're butting heads. Let's see what the hoplites do. You got to go 4 or 4. Which one's taking 4 attacks? You charged.
Oh, what's my total attacks?
You got your 7.
7, so I gotta do 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the 4 on your King's Guard.
4 on the King's Guard.
Yeah.
And again, we are in Romans turn 6.
Woo, baby, come on.
4 on the King's Guard, of which we are taking 2. All right, we'll see if we can save those. We do save one of them, which is not good for him.
Not good for me.
And if I wanted to, I could use my stubborn roll. I'm stubborn. Okay, so I've used up one of my stubborn rerolls, but that doesn't hurt to basically check that out. Go with 3 here.
3 need 3. 2.
2. Needing 5s. I save 1. So they've taken a wound. Now you're going to have 9 attacks with Wild Fighter coming back.
Oh, what about my supports?
2 for your supports. And you can put those anywhere you want.
4.
You want them on the King's Guard?
2. Yeah, let's put them on the King's Guard.
King's Guard saves them, baby. Boxcars! Boxcars!
Oh, why?
Oh, god damn! Here we go. 9 attacks from the King's Guard. And they're hitting you on 4s.
Yeah.
So that's 6 going in there. You will have a 4-up morale save with them, or is it 5-up? You're going to have to check that. And I'm going to re-roll because of Tough Fighter. And they didn't do anything else further.
Roman Hoplites, morale save 4+. Save 2.
So you got 4 blood markers now.
4 bloods.
Okay, here comes the second unit. Boom! Here we go. It's a big fight here. And Wild Fighters, let's do it! No. So they just did 8.
Oh.
Back into you.
That's... Oh, that was a little bit better.
That was a little bit better. Might have saved your bacon.
Barely. 3.
So you're taking
5.
So you're taking 5. Ouch. Okay, not enough to break you from the table. However, -2 puts you down to a 7. So you're -7 off. You lose by 7. Ow! They did it with disaster. And then this unit here, see what happens to the skirmishers. They're going to be good. We're going to see what that is. Nice. So I did beat the cavalry. However, on my 6, however, they're shaken. I lost an entire unit of cavalry over there, charging the hill again. And then over here, we pushed them back 6 inches. And now it's going into turn 7, and we'll see what happens to the King's Guard. Miraculous turn of events on Roman's turn 7. These guys pushed me back, lost to combat, so that's -1. And since I'm shaken, that's an additional -1. I will hit these guys on 6s now. And he'll have a fresh... He'll have actually... he only took a wound for his troubles there, but he'll have a fresh... I hit you on 3's turn of close combat here to get rid of that warband. So what I've got to do here is I think I'm going to want to rally my chariots on the next turn. And then we'll see if we can get the better of these slingers. Because the Rioria have been the MVPs for this entire goddamn game. And that's a drawn combat up there. However, we both hit each other on 5s. So, that ain't bad there. So here we are with my turn 7. We got the 1 order there. We took an order. We blundered. Double 6s and a 6 uncontrolled advance. Which means he couldn't run away. Even if he wanted to. He did disorder us on the way in, so you want to give me an orc face? And there we go. We're going to be fighting. He's got a wimpy clash of 2. Let's see what happens to the wimpy clash of 2, guys. We're going to roll that right now. Everybody wants to see skirmishers die. Because I got 9. And there's 2 hits. I am going to use my wild fighters. Oh, wait a minute, that is a hit. So here's 3 wild fighters. Boom, blowing the load. You are taking 6 total. No save. They're naked, dude.
Oh god, they get no save.
They get no save, so you're just gonna attack me back with your 2 dice. 2 hits, double 6s. A lot of 6s in this game. Do I save them? I save them. Ouch. Alright, so you lose by 6. So roll it. Let's see what happens to the skirmishers. It's never good. Oh, okay. 6 minus 3. That's dead. Everything for skirmishers is dead. There you go. So they died there. We got the hill. This historically is what happened at this point in the battle. Is that they fractured them? They just completely took over that hill.
Well, it actually started out with that. They just fucking took the hill at the beginning of the battle. And
dusted them off the hill.
And then
all
that
right.
was that.
But the Riorii fight. Let's do that one real quick because this is the MVP battle.
Yeah, what do you got for your sustain? You get 3.
I get 3 to your
6.
6. All right, I did hit you twice. You hit me on 5s as well.
Saved 1.
Saved 1, so you're going to take 1 for your trouble there. You're the only one with blood counters left. And then you getting 6.
6 needing 5s. Because we tied, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're fucked.
Oh, yes. That's a pretty good roll.
Oh, no, 2.
2?
2.
2.
I mean, I'm still winning.
I need 6s. I don't save them.
I won by 1.
So, I am up for you 1 by 1. Here's what happens. My cavalry, they're dead.
They're done.
So, they're done sparse on a 5 if break is shaken, I bet.
All right.
We'll come back after this big gob of combat's done. So this is how turn 7 ends. These guys turn around, they've got 1 wound left. He can spend a turn to rally, or he can spend a turn to try and charge me. Rally will give him 1 more hit point. He's gonna attack. You're gonna attack me with 7 either way.
Yep.
Over here, all these guys could do. This is just beginning of turn 8. All these guys can do is turn and look at each other. Roll to see if they're disordered.
No.
No disorder there. And then shaken, shaken, shaken. And then shaken. So we're going to play it out the last turn because this unit's still fresh. And technically, the game is basically over at this point. But if I spend I'm going to spend my turn rallying as well. I'm going to call this more of a draw because at the end of turns 8, these guys both went off the table. They're both out of stamina. The only thing standing here that I could do was give 1 infantry a rally, and that's it. Other than that, he could have come over and javelined me, but that's basically, but he can't because they're supporting the combat. So this is where the game ends for 8 turns, and we'll come back for a cap. Motherfucking boomers, dude. That's all I gotta say to you. There you go. The battle ended in a draw. Basically clear-cut draw. He had 1 unit of healthy skirmishers. I had a freshly rallied unit of, what do you call it? War bands. That's it. And with that, once you, I mean, if you really wanted to technically end the game, it would have ended around turn 6. But even then, it wouldn't have made a difference because you're still kind of at that point where you're not really quite a broken division, you know, because the Riorii are they had a stamina 6, so they did count as the 3rd unit kind of to my 4 units, but all 4 of my units were basically had 0 stamina left. Even my chariots had 0 stamina left, so it started out very grim for you. What do you think?
Oh man, it was brutal. It definitely didn't go how I thought it was going to go. I mean, we took a couple turns to meet each other, but then when we met each other, I mean, his chariots obliterated both units of my medium cavalry.
Chariots, pound for pound, probably the best thing, were probably my MVPs, much like your Riorii, but the best thing on the board, pound for pound, in my opinion, next to the hoplites that had the 4+ armor save. You did lose a unit of hoplites relatively early to a single.
I got 1 round of combat.
You put that one. You put them both into the same unit, and you did take all those attacks, and that swept them off the table relatively quickly.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was I was expecting when I lost the first unit of hoplites, I thought that was going to be it. I thought that was.
That's where I was too. I thought I was going to be able to flood you off, and
I was lucky enough to at least stop your chariots by sacrificing all of my cab to essentially stop them.
And that's what it did. You sacrificed all your cav. You weren't able to turn the flank. So you did stop the cav. They ran out of and I had to keep issuing orders rather than take a turn to rally.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that came down. I think 8 turns was kind of robust. I think you want to try to do it in 7. 7 is a standard game in my opinion. But as for working around the terrain, I had a lot of fun doing that. It really split the armies in half historically. We did take the hill, which did happen.
Yeah, the hill was interesting because, like, historically, the hill was the first supposedly to go, and then the army just fucking crumbled. The only thing is...
But they didn't put any heavy infantry up on that hill?
No, because... Well, we don't know for certain because the sources are so sparse, but traditionally, they think that the hoplites were the center of the army, and then they would have the class 3 and 4 spearmen, i.e. the Riorii, and then the other spearmen on the flanks, and then the light troops and cavalry supporting that. So that's kind of how we set it up. I had the hoplites right in the fucking middle. The problem is that Hail Caesar, I guess, didn't have, or at least we couldn't find any rules for hills. And so we did a house rule, and that really put your light cavalry
at a disadvantage because I figured I figured since you had to shield, you're defending it. It should have given you something if you're fully on the hill, which you were. But then, but that went away once I got up there. But you did disorder me. You did 2 more wounds to me in the 1 more wound to me in the combat.
Yeah.
Did I'm just curious to how I lost all my stamina up there.
You took shooting. I shot at you like twice, and that you
took 2.
You failed.
And then I took 1.
You failed.
And then
every
did you do 2 wounds in the combat?
I think I did 2 wounds. So you didn't save any of the shootings. And
if I go back through this and I found out that wasn't, it's a major Celt. It's a Celt victory because that would have given me the difference of 2.
I don't think we goofed up the addition there, but. I mean, it took you too long because you fought for the hill the whole game as opposed to taking it immediately. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we would play the hill different or give you the turn your light cavalry into medium cavalry.
Well, the stats for the, what do you call it? The stats for the cavalry, both units of cavalry, Roman or Celt, they were dog crap. You had a clash of 6 and a sustained of only 3, which really hurt. And that was brutal because... that was just light cavalry, and that's what. And you did this in the list from biblical and classical, correct?
I did the biblical. Yeah, everything was from the biblical and classical list. I kept it as historical as possible. My cavalry was probably slightly better than his light cavalry. Well, it was probably 6s because mine had a saves of 5s. Yours had saves of 6s. You had javelins, and I had the elite rule. So they kind of like even each other out. But your chariots were beast mode. And then your 1 King's Guard, he blows his load in that first round of shooting, or combat, but he's so powerful with all those special rules he gets.
Oh, I could have re-rolled that last one.
You might have been able. Did you already blow? I think.
No, I didn't. I didn't re-roll. I didn't re-roll the leaderships. I did all my wild fighters and I did my tough fighter. I didn't re-roll any leaderships. I took my 8 when I rolled it. I was gonna re-roll it, and I'm like, but that's an 8. So even if I do fall back.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would probably still count as a slight Celt victory, not according to rules, but just based what was on the board, because you still had 3 war bands on the table, and you still had the chariots, and I only had 1 unit of hoplites, 1 weak-ass unit of Riorii, and 1 unit of skirmishers. I mean, you murdered way more than what I did.
Yeah, in that combat between the lead unit of hoplites, I took so much wounds they actually bled over onto my supports and broke them.
Yeah, that's what happened there. I had like one really good round of rolling, I think.
And that coupled with me actually getting the moves, you not getting the moves, and that's where the balance came from, I think. So. Other than that, what other battles are we going to be planning on pretty soon here? Where did you want to go?
Well,
be careful here.
No, let's just be ambitious.
Skull Pass.
Skull Pass. Yeah, well, you got Skull Pass. I don't have any Kings of War. I haven't even played Kings of War.
You know what? Doesn't matter. What you could do is you can buy a dwarf gyrocopter, paint it. It's like
why do you want me to be a dwarf? Do I look like a dwarf?
You don't need to be a dwarf. It's either that or a goblin. It's either that or a goblin.
What is a goblin? What's the difference between a goblin and an orc?
Goblins are small, about 3.5 feet tall.
And what's an orc?
Orcs are about 6 feet tall, with gorilla arms. And huge mouths.
Alright, so I don't know. I might have to do, but here's the thing. If we want to keep doing... I mean, reality, Holy Diver has a pretty big ancient collection. He has pretty much a complete or nearly complete Celtic army that can be used for about 600 years of fucking history.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking from this period all the way up to the 1st century AD. I mean, 2nd century. I mean, you can be doing shit in, you know, with Boudica and in Britain and stuff. So, I mean, that's a really versatile army. And then you got a literal shit ton of hoplites. Mm-hmm. You have you have Macedonian cavalry and Greek cavalry, and you got some pike phalanxes. So you already have and you got some early Imperial Romans too. Not a whole lot, but you do got a decent amount. So like that's I
got a full army. I've got 2 full divisions. I've got 3 full divisions. I've got a cavalry division. I've got 2 full infantry divisions.
And then you got some but
I gotta get some. I gotta finish the artillery in that army. Yeah. I've also got to finish getting my black guys, Theo, Malcolm, Jamal, Theo done. I need some Numidians to push around to.
So my hope is I get some Persians and I get some Carthaginians, and then, man, we're set. We can pretty much cover the entire classical period. And we can do from Marathon all the way through the Peloponnesian Wars, all the way through the Alexander and the Successor Wars, and then go into the whole Roman period. And then you can pretty much do all of the Roman period. We don't have any late Roman stuff, but that's the only stuff we know.
And then you'll need Caesarians at some point, right?
Well, my army is gonna. I already have the start of a Caesarian force too.
Oh shit!
Because I have
some guys. This guy doesn't do.
I have a little. I have 32. 32 of my Principes are with chainmail and round scutums.
Oh.
I can use those guys for Caesarians.
That's pretty cool.
Those guys are usable for Caesarians. So I can use those guys for Marian reform, for the Sola Marian era and for the Caesarian era. So yeah, I mean, the sky is the limit. I mean, the sky is the literal limit. But I definitely want to build more custom battles with custom terrain and custom army lists that are more historical based.
Good job on the river, by the way.
I did the best I could.
I'll take it.
There's some changes to be made to it, but yeah, it turned out decent for a first time attempt.
All right, and that was based off the map. I'll have the picture of the map real fast and everything. So
yep.
The list and the map after the recap. And anyway, as you know, YouTube has many features you can use to interact with me. You can like the video, dislike the video, comment, or subscribe. But until I see you again, put down your crack pipes and your beer bongs and stay metal, my friends.
I'm more of an expert at exposing the moon.
Get out of here, let's go!
See if you find the one crater.